Hey everyone, Travis here at the very end of day one of week 9 of the North America LCS, joined by Meteos of Cloud9. Meteos, you were able to execute, like that win just now against Complexity. It seemed very textbook for you guys. And does this mean that you guys are back into like that whole we just go in and win games mantra that Cloud9 likes to have?
Oh no, not at all. This was our win for the week, meaning we guarantee we'll lose tomorrow. And so it's been like every week. I think we got lucky once where we won 2 games in a week, but no, this was our win for the week, and we're gonna lose tomorrow.
So looking forward to that loss tomorrow. Who do you play?
Curse.
It's true. Curse is, sort of starting to come back. They're doing that whole thing where they take people out. So maybe this is the time for you to lose, I think. We were just commenting on Kassadin being picked and Challenger. You were frustrated that you see him sometimes still in games because you think he should just be auto banned. What do you think it'll take to make Kassadin not auto banned or not surprising whenever, he gets through?
Okay, well, Kassadin is the most obnoxious champion of all time. I remember last split, I was getting annoyed with how Kassadin's just permaban picked not even permaban picked, just permabanned. Banned every single game unless you want to lose. And then they finally did the rework, and I was like, so relieved. I was like, nice, we can have a season where Kassadin isn't an auto ban for purple side and LCS. And then he's permabanned, so not a good time. I feel like it gives the purple side a huge disadvantage, more than they already are, because you basically have to waste a ban on Kassadin unless you just want to straight up lose the game. So there's that, and hopefully he gets nerfed soon.
Frustrations around Kassadin. What do you think is going on in the jungle? Because Riot has said that they want to make a more diverse champion pool, especially right before Worlds, where we can see a lot of different champions picked. Do you think that they're starting to execute on that or do well with that in the jungle?
I don't think they really hit the mark with 411. They tried out the Quill Coat, which was designed to help the tank junglers. So I think the idea behind the item is so you don't get bullied by like Lee Sin in your jungle, because he's sort of notorious for just going into your jungle and killing you if you're not a Lee. So I guess it kind of keeps you from getting killed by Lee Sin, so that's a little bit of help. But Quill Coat feels really horrible to me. It's like pretty poor mana sustain, poor clear speed. Sort of relies on just tanking jungle camps for a long period of time to get your health and mana back, which is like really weird. And it's a flat amount too, so it doesn't even scale well once you get Ancient Golem. And the item just feels really bad to me. I don't think they really hit the mark with that one. And it only really helped Nunu. Like, literally the only champion who was buffed in 411 was Nunu. And I feel like when that's happening, then your game is not headed in the right direction. So I've sort of been talking to people on the Riot design team in jungle, just giving my feedback on stuff. I understand it's like a really hard job, so I'm not like being really mean to them or anything, but just, I'm trying to encourage them to go more towards an aggressive route. Like, give these tank junglers a way to fight early game so they can actually have an impact on the game instead of just, let's give them all these defensive options on a defensive champion and scale into like very late game where they're super tanky. And it's like, that's not really fun for anyone. Nothing's going to happen in a game like that. Even if Lee Sin and Elise weren't existent and there were only tank junglers, the game would just be really boring. Like, you're not going to die to a Maokai gank. He has to be in like melee range to actually gap close on you. Anything like that. Zac doesn't do any damage if he jumps on you. So I really want them to go more towards, like an aggressive early game approach with these tank junglers, and hopefully they do.
What about just starting all tank junglers with like a Deathfire Grasp that they get to use, until the mid game, and then it just disappears from their inventory?
I don't even know if that would help, honestly. Like, a Zac with a DFG still wouldn't do anything. There was this solo queue game I was playing. I was Zac against Dominates Lee Sin. I was like level 5, full health with a Quill Coat. He's like this 40% health Lee Sin on his red buff. I was like, oh, this is so free. I jump on him, and he kills me. I was like, what the fuck, man? Like, I don't do any damage. Like, so I don't know. You could give tanks like all the defensive stats in the world. If you don't do any damage, you're not useful.
Any thoughts on 4.12? You said 4.11 you're somewhat disappointed in, but
that was the most recent patch. Oh, the jungle timers. I actually really like them. When I first heard the idea of, jungle timers coming out with the third-party apps and stuff, I was like, well, that's kind of lame. Like, I have to spend all this time, typing out timers and stuff. But then I sort of was like, well, I guess it's not actually hard to type out timers. It's just annoying. So then the fact that Riot actually implemented them themselves, I'm pretty happy with it, because like in solo queue, everyone's a lot more objective focused. Instead of me constantly typing out like dragon, like 16-16 dragon, 1 minute dragon, 30 seconds dragon, and then my entire team's top lane. I'm just like, what the hell, man? Now they can just press tab on their own and look at it. So I think that's really nice. And this is our last week of LCS, actually having to not use the jungle timers. So I'm still, typing everything, like being the bookkeeper. But I'm really looking forward to being able to play LCS with the jungle timers. I think it's really cool.
So what about the argument that this lowers the skill ceiling? There's a lot of people, I think even Monty, who were really frustrated by the changes because they feel like this takes a lot of the skill out of the game.
I can kind of understand why people make that argument. That's sort of what I thought when I first heard about it. But at the end of the day, I think there's enough stuff in League to separate like players' skill levels from each other that typing out something while you're trying to play the game isn't one of them. For example, if I'm having a fight near a blue buff and the blue buff dies in the middle of the fight, I'm not going to just start typing when the blue buff died. Right. And I'm not going to try to keep in my mind when the blue buff died during the fight while I'm trying to focus on all the other things. So it's just like a really random thing to test players on for their skill level. I feel like there's enough other stuff in the game that's not something that like players need to be able to do.
Very good. Well, I know all your team is waiting on the shuttle for you to leave. Anything you want to say to your fans, though?
To the fans, once again, thank you for your continued support. Hopefully we're getting better. I think our practice has been going a lot better, actually. We've been like a lot more focused in scrims, trying a lot harder, less messing around. So hopefully things are looking up for us. Maybe we'll break the curse of going 1-1 every week tomorrow against Curse. Yeah. Get it? Yeah. Break the curse.
I feel like you said against who, and then you were like Curse, and then you're like, I made a pun, and so you're like, get it? I feel like that was just a coincidence for you.
Get it?
You can check out the rest of our coverage of all things esports at ongamers.com.